Hello everyone and welcome to Sacred Magic 101. I am Sami and today we are going over a little bit of beginner ocean magic. Today we're going to be going over the tides. The first thing you must know is that the sea is a powerful and ever-changing force of nature, and for the sea witch, it offers a wealth of magical energy to be harnessed. The tides driven by the moon are particularly significant in sea witchcraft, or ocean magic, as others may know it, as they symbolize the ebb and flow of energy, emotions, and life itself. Now we will explore the understanding of the tides. The tides are influenced by the gravitational pull of the moon and to a lesser extent the sun. They create a rhythm that sea witches can align with, working with the rising and falling waters to time their magic for maximum potency. The high tide represents abundance, manifestation, and the peak of energy, ideal for spells related to growth, prosperity, and bringing things into your life. The low tide symbolizes release, banishment, and the waning of energy, perfect for spells focused on letting go, cleansing, and removing negativity. The ebb tide, receding, is a time for introspection, withdrawal, and inner work. Use this period for shadow work, self-reflection, as well as healing. The flow tide, rising, represents the increase of energy, momentum, and growth. This is a good time for spells involving new beginnings, expansion, and attraction. There are rituals aligned with tides. The high tide ritual. During the high tide, you need to perform a ritual of abundance by collecting seawater in a jar, charging it with your intentions for prosperity, and using it to anoint your candles, your tools, or your sacred space. Visualize the water's energy bringing your desires to fruition. The low tide cleansing. When it is a low tide, gather natural materials from the shore, like seashells, driftwood, or seaweed, and use them in a cleansing ritual. Create a sea salt scrub or a bath and focus on washing away negativity, visualizing the outgoing tide, taking your burdens with it. The ebb tide meditation. Use this ebb tide for meditation and introspection. Sit by the water's edge and listen to the waves as they recede, allowing the rhythm to guide you into a deep state of reflection. Journal about any insights or emotions that may arise. Then we have the flow tide spell work. This just happens to be one of my all-time favorites. With this, perform spells for attraction and growth during the flow tide. As the waters rise, visualize your intentions, growing stronger and more powerful, carried by the incoming tide. Cast your spell using sea-inspired tools like shells, sand, or even salt water. Collecting seawater for magical use, you must do with some respect and gratitude. Choose a time when the tide aligns with your intentions. High tide for manifestation, low tide for release. As you collect the water, speak your intentions or offer a small token of thanks to the ocean. Gratitude and thankfulness is very important. Now, there are some things that seawater can be used for, and I will give you a few things. Seawater can be used in a variety of different ways, but the three main ones that we like to use and we like to have our beginners start out with is number one, cleansing. Use seawater to cleanse your space, your tools, or yourself by sprinkling it around your home or adding it into your bath. Second one is anointing. Anoint candles, crystals, or other ritual tools with seawater to infuse them with the ocean's energy. Protection. Place a jar of seawater on your altar or near the entrance of your home to protect against negative energy. You can also incorporate oceanic elements into your practice. Some of the three main ones are seashells, seaweed, and driftwood. Shells, you need to use shells like in your rituals as symbols of protection, fertility, and feminine energy. Create a shell altar or use them to cast circles in your spell work. Seaweed. Incorporate dried seaweed in your spells for abundance, growth, and grounding. It can also be used in protective charms or as an offering to the sea spirits. Driftwood. Driftwood can be used to create wands, amulets, or altar decorations. It carries the energy of transformation and endurance, perfect for spells involving change and resilience. For the ocean practitioner or the sea witch, working with the tides offers a powerful way to align with the natural rhythms of the ocean and the moon. By timing your rituals, spells, and meditations with the rise and fall of the tides, you can enhance your connection to the sea and bring its potent energies into your magical practice. Now you may wonder what causes tides. The gravitational pull of the moon causes the water to bulge up underneath. This is the high tide. The moon also pulls on the earth, creating a high tide on the opposite side and two low tides in between as the earth is pulled towards the moon. The tide will change approximately every 6 to 12 minutes. Usually, a high tide occurs every 12 hours, sometimes every 12 hours and a half. Sometimes there are exceptions. This means the timing of the high tide changes every single day. This is due to a lunar day lasting 24 hours and 50 minutes. A lunar day in this context refers to the time it takes for the Earth to rotate on its axis and return to the same spot beneath the moon. As the moon travels on its orbit, the Earth has to catch up by 50 minutes to align directly beneath the starting point. As the moon orbits the Earth, it drags the water bulge along it. Depending on where you are in the world, you will usually get 2 high tides and 2 low tides per day. The sun also has gravitational pull on the water. When the moon and the sun are aligned vertically, their combined power creates a stronger pull that causes an even larger bulge. The result is a high tide that is considerably higher than usual, and a low tide that is lower than average. This is known as a spring tide, and it only occurs twice a month on the new moon and the full moon. Spring tides take their full name from the German word springen, meaning to jump. When the sun and the moon are at the right angles to each other, the sun's pull on the water lessens the effect of the moon's pull, creating a less dramatic bulge with little variation between the high and the low tides. This is known as a neap tide and occurs twice a month, on the first quarter waxing moon and the third waning moon. A word of unknown origins, it is suggested that neap may have meant scant or lacking. The moon's orbit around the earth is elliptical, not a perfect circle. This means that there are times when the moon is slightly closer to our planet. If this occurs during a full or new moon, then it creates a super spring tide, known scientifically as a perigee. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a perigee tide. If you haven't, research it, because I actually like them. I really do. But going on right ahead. More chimingly known by the alternative term king tide, the celestial bodies may align in this matter a limited number of times per year, creating the highest tide possible. These special days can be opportunities to work extra potency magic. Anytime there is a supermoon, a king tide will also follow. A little more digging may be required to find out about king tide that occur on the new moon. You will have to find a perigee moon calendar for your actual location. So again, it really depends on where you are in the world and on the map. Some of the tidal activities that we celebrate here in the coastal regions is every New Year we make a record of the spring, neap and king tides in our area. We also like to observe the patterns of the tides at the closest body of water. And then we like to see how our personal energy feels with each ebb and flow. The kids also love to look for sea treasures about an hour before and an hour after low tide, as you can access more of the ocean bed than usual. You have a greater chance of finding something special, and that's why they like to do those kind of activities during that time. There are so many things regarding ocean magic, as well as the tides and the moon and the rituals and the culture. It is an absolutely beautiful practice. If you guys are wanting to learn more about ocean magic, feel free to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Here at our channel, you will learn more about ocean magic for beginners as well as other sacred magics. Again, this is Sammy with Sacred Magic 101. Have a great day, a great weekend. Be loved and be blessed.